and welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. We are continuing our on-air college fair, and we welcome this morning Tim Bryan, who is the Chief of Staff and Vice President for Enrollment and Marketing at Malone University. Good morning, Tim.
Thank you. Very nice to be with you this morning.
You are still somewhat of a new face around Malone University. Been there a year or two? How long now?
It's been 18 months, believe it or not. I spent 26 years at a place called Hiram College up in Portage County and came to Malone in July of 2014 and was attracted here for the opportunity. Certainly have worked in the market for a long time and knew of Malone and knew what a great place it was, and made the move, and after that many years to come, and have been very delighted with the institution and the people, and it's everything that I had hoped it would be, and just very excited to be a part of what's happening here at Malone.
Well, I know they're very excited to have you as well. After 26 years at an institution, though, there's got to be something very compelling that drew you. Talk about that a little bit. What brought you to Malone?
That's a great question, and I'm asked about that a lot, actually. I certainly was asked about it in the interview. 26 years at Hiram College, and as much as in my job was really the chief marketing officer, but throughout that time, it's very hard to differentiate institutions from each other. And so the average person in Northeast Ohio would probably only know two things about Hiram. Number one, that it's a small school, and two, that the Cleveland Browns used to practice there. That's about it. They wouldn't know any of the other programs. Malone, however, has an advantage, being a Christian institution, a Christian university. And so when I started to look at, there was an opening here, when I started to look at why I might want to make this move, going in knowing that the institution already had an established identity, people knew of Malone and they knew it was a Christian school. And now the task, of course, is just to make it more well-known and really to explain what it means to be at a Christian university. So that was very attractive to me. It also fit well with my faith. Hiram was a wonderful place. I grew up at Hiram professionally, but faith was really not a part of what I did on a day-to-day basis. It was part of my life, but you sort of tucked it away, packed it away when you went to work. It was a secular place. So here it was an opportunity to sort of live out my faith in a professional setting and to have the opportunity to sort of make the institution more well-known. So I was also attracted to the fact that it's a larger school with more graduate programs and degree completion programs and online programs. And I really do think that the more institutions in 2015 can have a lot of hooks in the water, a lot of different revenue streams, they'll be stronger. It's a very, very challenging higher ed environment. It's never been harder to recruit to an institution than it is right now. And we're in Ohio, in Northeast Ohio. There are very few places in the country that would have more competition for students. And so, as I looked at, my next phase of my career and what I wanted to do, I wanted to go to a place where you could market to traditional students and adult students, and the fact that the online programs are growing so rapidly across the country, that Malone had a pretty well-established online program already. That was certainly attractive to me. And then, of course, once I came and met the people like you and others, it was an easy sell. Very much like my former place, people here are really what makes the institution tick, and it's what attracted to me. It's what attracts students. We get about half the students that visit to come to Malone. That's a really compelling statistic. It tells us that we're making a great impression with the people with which we get to work.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Enrollment, looks like it's good news there. Talk about that and maybe some of the initiatives that you've put into place to increase enrollment at Malone.
Sure, absolutely. We have, over the course of the last year, and a lot of people involved in this, so it's certainly not just my initiatives, but we have begun to put into place some programs where we wanted to define who Malone is in the marketplace. So we wanted to go to those students who had a really good, solid understanding of what a Christian education. So we have an outreach program, and faculty and staff members take our students out into youth group churches, and they do programming, and they do concerts, and they do talks. And it's for these students that in their churches, we go out to them, and we talk about what it means to be a Christian at a middle school age or high school age, and then also the opportunity for faith integration and the academic integration here at Malone. And so these are students that we obviously feel like would have a really solid understanding of what Malone is and would be, a prime target for our recruitment efforts. We've also set out to market the academic program, be much more intentional with focusing on the academic program. And the number one question students have when they come to a college fair table these days is they list a major. They say, do you have this major? And if you don't, they turn and walk away. You don't really have an opportunity to explain what you might have in that area or how they could look at other majors. It's really, they're so focused on their major. So we spent a lot of time this last summer putting together materials on all our majors so that we could market each individual major specifically to students. And then we also wanted to take advantage of the fact that bringing people to campus was so impactful and so successful. Mm-hmm. So we put together some very specific programs. We call them focus days. And so, for example, this fall, I'll talk about some we've had in the fall and then also some we're having here in January. But in the fall, we marketed to students who are interested in zoo wildlife biology, and we had them come in. It was just their day. They could work with our faculty. They had a chance to work in our animal room. They had a chance to meet our students. They had a chance to listen to some of our alums who have gone on to work at zoos, talk about their experiences, and it appeals to their specific interest. The day is all about them. We had a cross-country day. Those students who have an interest in cross-country, our coach, Jack Hazen, is one of the most well-known cross-country coaches in any level in NCAA.
Right.
And so we had 47 kids for that program. The night before we opened our theater performance, Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, we had a focus day focused on theater. And so we had 37 students come. They got to come for the dress rehearsal. So they had a chance to see our students warm up and hear our professors talk about set building and then also the play itself. And it was a sort of behind-the-scenes tour. And again, these are students who are interested in theater.
Very
we have
cool.
focus days also. In January, we have focus days on education and in nursing. And they'll be able to come in, work in our labs, work in our faculty, get their hands dirty. It's a way to give them an opportunity to see, is this really what I want to do, even before they make their college choice. So we've been very intentional about bringing people into the institution, give them an opportunity to be involved and get their hands involved in their interests, and it's paying off. We are right now running about it's still early in the recruitment cycle, but we are very encouraged by our numbers, about 40% up in our inquiries and our applications and admitted students. It's a very positive sign. I'll be the first one to tell you can't take anything for granted in this business. You have to recruit all the way through. Butts and seats is really when you can count them. But we have some very encouraging signs right now, and we attribute to it's no magic here. It's literally, what do we do well, and how do we get it in front of students so that they can pay attention and really feel good about what their academic interests are.
It's very likely somebody listening right now would like to know more about those January focus days,
Sure.
particularly with the nursing and so forth. When are those? How does a person get more information?
They're January 30th, and if they would just go to www.malone.edu, just think /focus, and then all the information would be there. But we bring them in the morning. It's not really something we talk at them. We wanted these programs not to be something where they sat and listened. They do enough of that in their classrooms now. We wanted it to be a quick introduction to the program, and then we turn them loose, frankly. We turn them loose with our faculty members, and the zoo wildlife one was the best example. I mean, those students had smiles on their faces. They had a chance to interact with animals. They had a chance to hear from our alumni, those folks who have gone through the program and where they are now and how they're doing. So It's really an immersion, a two-hour immersion. Then we feed them at the end of the day, and then frankly, regardless of what decision they make, they'll leave Malone knowing really about our program. If they make a decision to go somewhere else, then that will be that'll be an informed decision on their part, because at least they'll know what we offer. And so we're really excited to continue to create these Focus Day programs. And again, just go to our website and put /focus, and they'll get right to the information.
And it sounds like it's so hands-on. Like you mentioned, the Zoo Day, Malone having one of the largest zoo collections anywhere that you could find on a private college campus. and also the nursing, where they're actually getting to use those mannequins that respond like human beings. It's an amazing simulation lab that they have back there. So it sounds like such a very fun, hands-on type of a experience. You've got so many cool programs. We can't begin to scratch the surface, but you do have some new ones I think you'd like to touch on. Tell us about those.
Yeah, I have three new programs in our traditional, and I guess I should start this way. The line between traditional and non-traditional anymore is really pretty fuzzy, but what people would consider sort of the traditional program, three new programs. One in criminal justice, and it's pretty unique for a Christian university to have a criminal justice program, but what's even more different about ours is the focus is going to be on restorative justice. It's the focus on getting people, the offenders, back into society. What's best for them, what's best for society. And so we're launching that for next fall. We're recruiting for it this year and been very successful in terms of generating interest. And
Let me stop you there 1 second. So you're really talking about rehabilitation, not just gathering up bad guys and locking them away, but you are addressing that individual's life and rehabilitating them so that they're able to then contribute again. What a unique idea.
Yeah, and this is we think it grows straight from our ethos and our mission and who we are as a compassionate Christian institution. And there's got to be something next for these people, and we live in a pretty complex, difficult world to understand sometimes. And so we just think there's not a better time nor a better place to really talk about these issues. So we have a very strong group of professors who will be teaching in the program. And so we think it's distinctive, and that's really, we did our research. Anytime we do new programs now, we do our research to see two things really we're trying to identify. Number one, does it fit into the marketplace? Is there interest? And number two, does it grow out of our mission? We're not going to do things that you wouldn't expect to find here as a Christian institution. So, criminal justice is a sweet spot. And again, inquiries are very strong already for that program, and it's a pretty robust program up and running by September.
We're speaking with Tim Bryan. He is Chief of Staff and Vice President for Enrollment and Marketing at Malone University. You've got quite a bit in the area of adult studies and online as well.
Sure. There's two that we're very excited about. One is a gifted endorsement, and this is can be earned completely online, and it's for high school teachers who want to be that resource for their building to work with students with exceptionalities. And so it was put together by practitioners. We worked with Stark County Educational Association, our faculty, and so we're having our first information night. In fact, this month, it's actually tomorrow, but it'll be over by the time this program airs. But we'll have others. But it's for those teachers who want to learn to work with gifted students, and they want to be that resource for their colleagues in the high school setting. And so we have very strong Department of Education and faculty there, and our interest in that is really off the charts so far. The second is a focus on acute care, and the easiest way to describe this program, it's really for nurses who want to work at the bedside. They want to work with the sickest among us. They want to be the nurses who are there and provide that critical care in these very critical stages of life. And, there's a market for this. We're excited about it. This is actually a program that we created because healthcare professionals came to us and said, you have a great nursing program. We need this. This is a need. We need nurses trained in this way. Can we talk with you about pulling this program together? And of course we did. So those two programs for the adult market are really showing a lot of interest for fall. And I think it's a great example of the role that Malone and certainly other institutions can play. Meet a need in the marketplace, meet a need in Northeast Ohio, and not create a program specifically for that, but create a program that flows from what you do well. And certainly education and nursing, two of our core competencies. And we're pretty excited for those two programs.
It also sounds more like you're not just preparing people for careers, but for their callings, because those are very specific callings as well. We're speaking with Tim Bryan, Chief of Staff and Vice President for Enrollment at Marketing at Malone University. We have to take a break here. We'll be back after these words. Stay with us. You're listening to Our Community.